Elon Musk has declared war on the very liberal online watchdog group Media Matters for America, claiming that the group manipulated data to try and destroy X. As The Hill reported earlier, Musk's X alleges that Media Matters exploited the platform's features of allowing users to control the content they see on their feed by creating a secret account designed to evade normal safeguards and then manipulating every aspect of the system through which posts and advertisements appear, ultimately creating the side-by-side images of objectionable content and advertisements. Now, Musk alleges that Media Matters used the fake account to compile a report that they then turned around and showed to advertisers in an attempt to get them to drop X. The attempt has worked, as Apple, Disney, and Paramount all removed their advertisements from the platform.
Now, Musk was not without his defenders, including Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who opened an investigation into Media Matters over the incident. Musk posted the investigation's announcement on X, saying fraud has both civil and criminal penalties. Another Musk defender was friend of the show, Michael Shellenberger. In a post on X, Shellenberger argued that he and a co-author tried various ways to replicate Media Matters' research and couldn't, claiming the real goal of Media Matters isn't to fight anti-Semitism, it's to destroy X as a free speech platform. Musk responded by writing, "Media Matters is pure evil."
Shellenberger appears in a new documentary, The Censorship Files, which is about his work exposing the suppression of speech on social media. Let's watch some of that trailer.
Moments of real terror at what's going on and the potential for tyranny. To see it happening is shocking.
If the Supreme Court says that the government can coerce, pressure, work with tech companies to censor speech, I don't think that the First Amendment has any meaning anymore.
Especially when you have a crisis situation that you need the First Amendment.
Joining us now is Michael Shellenberger to talk with us about his piece and how Media Matters is, in fact, trying to obliterate X. Thank you so much for joining us, and congrats on the new film. The documentary, the trailer looks very good.
Thanks. Great to be with you guys.
So let's get right into this. This is obviously a very big story, and now lawsuit being filed and all of that. Tell us about your efforts to see if Media Matters did, in fact, have a point, and all of this very objectionable content was appearing alongside advertisements, or was Media Matters, in fact, misrepresenting the situation?
Yeah, so I mean, we just did what I think any investigative journalist would want to do when they saw the Media Matters report. The Media Matters report claimed that they were served up ads from big brands, including Apple and IBM, next to pro-Nazi content. So we attempted to replicate what Media Matters had done. We created new accounts. We followed the exact same pro-Nazi accounts that Media Matters had highlighted, 11 accounts. And we did not get any of those ads. We did not get any ads. We even went into the accounts themselves. After that failed, we then followed 3 times more pro-Nazi accounts, 30 accounts. Same thing, we could not get them to replicate. Now, you may say, well, X changed the algorithm in between the time of the Media Matters publication and when we went online. And that very well could have happened. However, I think you have to keep in mind then that it would suggest that it's still, that it was something that would have been fixed very quickly, that it was some sort of a glitch that Media Matters had basically gamed in order to come up with this outcome. I mean, in other words, Media Matters went into this wanting to claim that basically wanting to target X's advertisers and get them to stop advertising on X. That's what's really going on here. And so they gamed the system to try to show some connection between these brands and these neo-Nazi accounts, because they wanted because brands are concerned about associations and where they show up. So they went into this trying to find this. I have no idea whether Media Matters ever even found that or if it constructed those things. Either way, I think it shows that you have a platform that doesn't want to serve neo-Nazi or doesn't want to serve advertising near pro-Nazi content. So even if they did change their algorithm in between the time of the Media Matters and our report, I think it shows that you've got a platform here that actually is bending over backwards to avoid the kind of associations that Media Matters is accusing it of promoting.
I think the question or the pushback that you might receive from some folks is that it's not that Twitter is invested in not positioning brand content next to neo-Nazi hashtags or whatever it is, but that they don't want to do so and be caught. So I wonder what you make of a number of folks who replicated the experiment and have provided screen grabs. If you do a search for this on Twitter, you see a bunch of people who say, look, I gamed this out. I did hashtag Heil Hitler, and I found that I was immediately hit with ads for the German government's Come Live in Germany ad. That was Erin Reed posted that. She's a journalist that covers a lot of trans issues online. Then she's not the only one. People have accumulated screen grabs. So of course things can be manipulated. Who knows what's accurate? But is the allegation then that all of the people who were able to replicate the Media Matters results are fabricating those posts, or what do you make of that?
And just to clarify, I'm not accusing anybody of fabricating posts, and maybe they did find that. I guess I would just, you have to kind of go, what are we talking about here exactly? I mean, so first of all, if there are brands being served up next to pro-Nazi content, then clearly X needs to figure that out so that that's not occurring. It sounds like you've got a CEO and owner of the company that doesn't want that to occur. They've made a lot of effort, it sounds like, to avoid that. So if you have to go to the great lengths that people are going to get these ads served up next to these posts, I think that tells you something there already. And you kind of go, what are they really saying? Because of course, it seems like what they're really saying, and this is what Media Matters said in the headline of its article, is basically saying that Elon Musk is promoting anti-Semitism, and he's promoting it with the posts that he responds to and that he likes. He's promoting it by putting big brand ads next to those posts. I just think that's absurd. I just don't think that that's a credible case. And I think the other thing is just, look, the main event here is what's been going on from the beginning, which is that these groups are trying to encourage greater censorship. And I strongly support, along with the Supreme Court of the United States, very broad free speech protections, including of pro-Nazis, including of people that I really disagree with and don't like. They should have a right to speak. The Supreme Court has allowed Nazis the right to march through neighborhood of Holocaust survivors in a very famous 1977 decision. Of course, we had an earlier 60s decision in Brandenburg versus Ohio that allows this. We should want those same levels of free speech protection online. And I think then where the ads get placed is a question for X and the advertisers. If you don't want your ad placed to certain kinds of content, you should have a right to not have your ad placed next to that content. I think we should go further and let the users of X decide what content we are fed and allowed to see. It should not be up to the government or to the advertisers or to Media Matters or to Elon Musk to decide the content that I'm allowed to see. I should be able to choose it for myself. That's user control of content moderation. I think it's an idea whose day is still yet to come, but I hope it's one of the outcomes from this that Congress seriously takes that into consideration as a requirement for Section 230 liability protection, that users ultimately be allowed to control our own content.
But Michael, I'm so sorry, but isn't that the question? The argument that's happening right now, I'm sure there are people who would say no one should be able to say Heil Hitler on Twitter. But the argument that's happening right now isn't about whether or not any given pro-Nazi or white supremacist phrase should be able to be used on the app. The question is whether or not advertisers have the right to say, I don't want my ads to be associated on that app. And is that really a free speech issue? It seems to me that there is a free speech issue happening on Twitter, which is that partly probably in response to this controversy about Elon Musk being accused of anti-Semitism, he has kowtowed to requests from the ADL to make the phrase from the river to the sea something that can get you sanctioned and banned on Twitter. But that is not, that I think is legitimately a free speech question. What can people say on Twitter? But isn't the question of what advertisers can choose to do or not do in the app somewhat attenuated from these questions about speech?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. In other words, advertisers, like if you want to run a commercial platform, then you should put the advertisers' ads where they want them. Or if you're not putting them there, the advertisers can go somewhere else. It's just a free market decision. And I will say, I agree with you about the from the river to the sea prohibition. I don't agree with that. And that's not, I mean, I hesitate to say something like if I ran Twitter, because it's just such a ridiculous idea, but And I hesitate to sort of put myself too much in his shoes. But no, of course, I totally agree with you. That should be allowed. I mean, we should allow all legal speech online. Again, they should police the illegal content, but we should allow all legal speech online. And if you don't like it, then block that person, or preferably create some sort of filter system where I don't have to see it. I certainly don't want to see a lot of that stuff. But I think, I don't think that they should have banned that phrase.
Yeah. I think you're both right to point to the advertisers. Elon can set what the policies wants. He says he wants a kind of free speech approach. We try to hold him accountable when we think he falls short of that. The advertisers might not like it, or they can work with them or not. But for me, a question does become: are these these watchdog groups, Media Matters and the ADL, are they fairly representing the situation when they speak to the media, when they speak to the companies, and describe what the situation is? I think that's very much become a question. We talked the other day about the ADL specifically, which I've criticized a lot over the years for, I think, inflating statistics in a lot of cases. So I think it's very much an open question. I like to see more scrutiny of their activities as this middle manager of what's going on the platform. Thank you so much for your time today, Michael. We always appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.